Greetings YouTube, my name is Kichwa, and welcome to my first ever video tutorial for Left 4 Dead. Today we're going to focus on creating an animated television mod. I've had quite a few requests for modding videos, and I figured, well, why not tackle this one? This is the one I've had the most requests for. So, here we go. What tools do I use? Well, first off, I use Bandicam to record the footage I need. I recorded in an AVI format. We'll get into more detailed information about that later. You can use anything, fraps, whatever. As long as it records in an AVI, you're good to go. The next tool is free to use, g.a.p, and I use that to extract the VTF valve texture file and the VMT, the valve material text that we need to modify. The next free to use tool I recommend getting is g.a.p 2.8. It's fairly basic and not very interesting until you start installing a ton of plugins. For this particular video, there's 3 plugins that I focused on using. They were g.a.p, the GIMP animation package, which I use to select and extract the AVI into individual frames. The batch editor, which I used for adding the picture tube frame to each frame of animation. And the VTF plugin, which was used to, you guessed it, create our VTF file. Another tool will use in the video is VTF Edit. I recommend having that handy in your arsenal if you plan on modding. What I'll be using it for is to check out the animation on it. You'll also see me use it to extract from the VTF individual ping files. The last tool I'll be using is the VPK executable, which is in the Left 4 Dead 2 authoring tools. If you have a valid copy of the game through Steam, it's free to install, and it's the only way you can create proper VPKs and install, upload stuff into the workshop. Alright, the next step is to grab the needed files that we're going to modify. So we're going to go through our pathway to get to our game. I'm just going to go shoot to it and then I'll explain the pathway or show it to you. Boom, here it is. Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Left space 4 space Dead space 2, Left 4 Dead 2. Scroll on down until you find the pack 01 underscore dir. We're going to open that up with the GCFscape program. We need something out of materials for a model, and the model is for an interior. We're going to scroll on down because we know it's for a TV. Let's keep going. Where's it at? There we are. We need the TV animated static VMT, the TV static VTF, the TV static underscore ref VTF. So now we got those 3 highlighted. We're going to drag them over and drop them onto the desktop. We'll close these 2 windows because we'll never be going there again. Now we're on to the next step. We're going to take the TV static underscore ref, and open those in GIMP so we can create the ping file that's going to be our watermark. So let's open up GIMP. And open these up individually. Alright, and already we can see there's a difference in size. This right here, if we hit the canvas, we can see it's at 256 by 256. That's exactly what we need it to be. This, we're going to have to scale. This will be needed scaled up to the same size as the other one. And bam, there we are. Excellent. The next step is we're going to take this image and we're going to adjust the contrast, boost it by 10. And then we're going to take the color and invert it. This is going to be our mask. So we're going to copy the visible, and now we're going to move over to this texture. We're going to layer, mask, add a layer mask at full white, full opacity. We're going to add that, and you can see here it is. At this point, we're going to take the image that we copied into the clipboard and we're going to paste it. Pasting it once, we can see how it's changed here, but it hasn't changed our texture over here yet. We actually need to paste it a second time. Then get rid of the floating layer. Then go into the layers, mask, and apply it so it's absorbed in. Now we have our finished ping file. We just have to export it out. We'll call it TV frame.png. And export it out, and we're done. We close up GIMP for this process. We now can take these two files and throw them in the circular file. We now have our finished frame ready to use. Our next step is to create our raw VPK. I've actually taken the time to prepare one in advance, and let's go over the parts. We'll start off with the add-on info document. Let's blow that up. It's required for all add-ons. For example, if this was set to 500, this would work for Left 4 Dead 1. But we're creating a mod for Left 4 Dead 2 today, so let's make it 550. Everything else is fairly self-explanatory. An add-on title, TV housing intro, add-on version, whatever number you're on, taglines, etc., who made it. And all this stuff just shows up in the add-on window to help the end user identify what they're working with. So it helps if you tag it properly. This is a skin, so this is going to be tagged with a 1 right here. We're done with that, so let's close and save that out. These are not necessary, but it's kind of nice if you're trying to promote who you are and your works. That, hey, it's me, I made it, my image. Alright, so here we're going, let me back that up. We follow the same file structure that was in the pack01_dir. We got our materials, models, props, interiors. In here is where we're going to deposit the material file that we pulled and the texture file once we're finished making it. But first, since we're here, let's edit the material file. We'll go over some basics first before I do the final edit. Unlit generic. Pretty much what this is saying is, hey, we're going to glow. Base texture, this is our texture that we're going to be modifying. This will be the name that we're using for our final texture. Colors, color. Cube maps, those control the reflections off the surface. The environmental map mask. This will make sure that not the entire surface glows, but only the glass. The frame, which is dark, will not have the reflection. Surface prop. It's going to react like glass. If you set it for wood or anything else, it'd be kind of silly. Self-illum tint. As I mentioned before, it's an unlit generic, so it's going to produce its own glow. You can actually change the tint of that glow with this command. The proxies. This is where the fun stuff is, our animated texture stuff. Valve's screen animates at 15 frames a second. When I record my videos, I record them at 24 frames. So in order for it to animate properly, I have to change this to 24 and save it. So now I'm done with editing the material file. We can close that out and move on to the next step. Alright, the last thing on the to-do list, capturing the video. As I stated, you can use whatever program you're most comfortable with as long as you can record in an AVI format. There are a few things that I do change setting-wise when I do TV mods. Specifically the size, it's reduced down to 217 by 220. Don't forget, even though our texture is going to be 256 by 256 when we're done, we still have to add a TV frame, and we don't want that frame covering up our pretty animated image. The next thing is our frames per second. 24 frames is pretty comfortable. It works rather well for a small TV mod, and anything beyond that's rather wasteful. Alright, we finished everything on our to-do list. The next thing is to start creating our texture. We've already got our video captured, and I've renamed it to make it easier for me to find. So let's get to the next step here. Open up GIMP. And with the g.a.p plugin, there will be an extra tab across the top here called Video. We're going to click on that, split video into frames, extract video range. From here, we're going to find our file, which we placed on the desktop and renamed right there. Easy to find. Click OK. We've got our file. We want it to start from frame 1. We have no clue how many frames there are to this. I know that there's not 9,999, so I'm going to go ahead and input that. Video track, yeah, we need to keep that. That's what this is all about. Well, VTF doesn't support audio, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. And now we need to set the decoder to AV format. For our output, we're going to create only one multi-layer image and click OK. Now it's extracting the frames and it's going to place them over here, as we can see. And when I captured my video, I captured several frames I didn't want at the tail end. So I'm going to go ahead at this time, select those. I already know which ones they are, and delete them all. And that brings us down to 1,865 frames for this particular TV mod. The number next to it is how fast that frame actually plays. It already knows how fast it needs to play because it's set there. So I pull up the filter, hit animation and playback for this window. I can play back and it's going to play at that speed no matter what I do with the frames per second. Which we're going to be playing at 24 when we're ready for it. If I want to hurry up and get to the end and see if I really did fix the video near the tail end, I can always hit the ×8, and of course you can see it just blast through there now. Let's set that and see if the ending's okay. Put it back at normal speed. As long as there's just a little bit of black time between the fade out and the start, seems fine to me. Alright, the next step. Our texture isn't the correct size to be turned into a VTF yet. So what we're going to need to do is go into Image, Canvas Size, and change this to a 256 by 256. We want it centered, and then we're going to resize it. And actually, let me do something here, just to make it easy. See what's going on. Let me find a nice image to go from. Oh, that'll work. This will be our animated image, and when we're finally done, we're going to use the watermark that we created earlier to cover up all this. So what we're going to do next is we're going to export what we currently have to the desktop as a VTF. And for right now, because this is going to be a throwaway VTF, we're going to call it htv.vtf. The reason I call it a throwaway is because we're going to export this to examine our work. We've already done that. I know it's going to be fine. But I'm going to examine it also in VTF Edit just to show you how that works. And also I'm going to use the VTF Edit program to export the frames into a PNG format. The batch editor only recognizes PNG. That's why we created the TV frame into a PNG as well. For video purposes, I'm going to go ahead and edit out all this exporting time. This is going to take a long time, and no one wants to watch a video time counter. Catch you on the other side. Alright, we're coming up on the tail end. It's almost done putting all the frames into the export group. Our next step is to turn this into an animated frame. We currently do not want to use compression or bitmaps. Not for this step. We will be using the compression and bitmaps, or using only compression, on the next step. So we're going to go ahead and OK that, and it's going to take its time to create the VTF file. Yet again, for video purposes, we're going to pause. Alright, the export image screen has now disappeared, meaning it's done. What we're going to do at this time is go ahead and close up the g.a.p program. And you can see here we go, we got our VTF file. We're going to check that out next. Alright, the next step is we're going to open up the HTV VTF using VTF Edit. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this in one notch. And with this tool you can examine one frame at a time, or you can even hit play and just let it run its course. And you can see our video is currently running backwards. This is not going to be a problem. This is actually expected and will change before the final product comes around. What we're using this program for primarily right now is I need to export all of these, and we're going to put it into this empty folder we got here as ping files so I can throw it into the batch editor. And this is going to take VTF-Edit a minute or two. So for purposes of the video, I'm just going to move on to the next step. Alright, we finished taking our HTV VTF and splitting it into individual pings and putting it into our Helsing TV mod folder. So we can go ahead and take this and throw it away. Let's go ahead and take a look-see at these. We'll just pop down about halfway and, well, actually, let's go maybe about here. Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah, real nice. Okay. So we got all of our images, but we need to add our frame. We're going to use GIMP for that, and the plugin that we need for this is the batch manipulation. So we're going to file batch image manipulation, and we need to add a folder. The folder we want to modify, and it's going to be the Helsing TV mod 1. And the output folder, actually we're going to use the exact same one because we're overwriting what we got. Now, we need to set our manipulation. We need to add a watermark. We need to select our watermark image which we created, and that's going to be, where did we put that? There it is, TV frame ping. And we're going to center that, OK, and apply. It's going to ask, do you want to overwrite? Yeah, because we don't care. We're not using those old crappy images. We want the new modified ones. And yet again, we're going to pause until this is finished with its batch editing. And we're almost at the end here. There we go. It's now finished doing what it's got to do, so we're going to go ahead and close that out. The next step is we're going to open as layers all these files or images we just modified. So we're going to grab all these, make sure I did. Boom. This will take a little bit. Alright. And now it's done. Okay, next thing we're going to do is go into the filter, animation, and we're going to play back. We want it to play backwards. If it plays backwards, then it's set up the right way. Oop, let me turn up the frame rate, and it is. It's correct way we want to be. We want to be backwards in this step because when it assembles it for the final step, it's going to reverse the layer order on us. Watch. So we're going to export. Actually, let's just go to the desktop. There's our VPK we started building earlier. Might as well put it in the correct spot. TV anim static dot VTF. And I forgot the T. We're going to export that. comes the fun stuff of creating our .vtf. So we need to create it in animation frames. We do want compression, but we do not want bitmaps. And yet again, we got to let the machine do its thing, so we're going to have to wait until it's finished. Alright, it finished exporting the file for us. Now we can close out GIMP and check out our VTF. There it is. Let's go ahead and zoom in on it and take a good look-see. Let's hit play and see if all this time and effort was worth it. And everything seems to be working just fine. Image is framed without destroying it or cutting too much of it off. Nice shading effect around the edges so it doesn't look too harsh. Matches what Valve has. I think we got a winner. Alright, we're on to the final step here. We're going to go back to L4D1 2. We're going to go into the bin file. Steam apps common left space 4 space dead space 2 bin. Scale on down or scroll on down. Find the VPK application. We're going to take the VPK, the raw VPK we created, and we're going to drag it over the top of this. Now let go. See that window pop up, and there's our VPK. Since we're here, we're just going to back it up, L4D1 2, and there's our add-on folder. We'll drag this right in here. We'll overwrite the one I made earlier, and we've installed our mod. The only thing we got to do now is fire up the game and see how everything's working. Alright, the next step is to test out the mod in L4D1 2. Make sure everything's working as we want it to. Let's get past all this. Excuse me. Alright, we're going to go into the add-ons. We'll see our add-on is in place. It's not conflicting with anything. Outstanding. So let's close that up. And what we're going to do is, I'm just going to make it quick and easy. Well, no, I'll just do it this way. Let's get out of there. We'll play a campaign. Single player. And where we're going to go is actually No Mercy. And that way I don't have to deal with too much nonsense. I'll be Lewis. Alright. Let's grab a pack and some firearms and run downstairs and check out some TV. Alright. Yeah, I feel nice and safe now. I just want to make sure I get rid of these guys so they don't accidentally shoot the TV. Alright. Oops. Now we can see the TV mod in action. Alright, you can see if you follow these steps, you can create a proper working animated television mod for L4D1. Hopefully this tutorial has been instructive or helpful, or at least opened up some type of insight in making your mods. God bless, and thanks one and all for your support and for your subscriptions. Peace out.